In other news, the 2015 deadline for the planned broadcast migration from analog to digital systems is not cast in stone. On the second day of the channel's TV Digital Broadcast Conference in London, experts cautioned African countries against rushing through the transition process. The migration, which applies to radio and television, is expected to lead to the efficient use of spectrum to improve broadcast quality, increase frequency, and multiple platforms. Nigeria is a member of the International Telecommunications Union, striving to meet a deadline which requires huge financial, technical, and regulatory commitment.
And lastly, I will urge all the countries in the audience, don't rush this project, okay? Don't rush it. The sky is not going to crash down. One of the myths about digital switchover, which I mentioned in the book, is that after June 15, 2012, all the countries should have converted to digital. Indeed, frankly, 30 African countries do not fall on the 2015 list. Most people do not know that, because all the VHF countries actually have a cutoff date of 2020. The analog to digital switchover of TV should not just be exploited as an exercise in technocracy, it must be exploited as an opportunity to light the burners of a new multi-channel, multimedia, more interactive and more social media sector in Africa.
We're starting on a journey, I think. There's been this huge problem that a lot of people in Africa thought that everything's got to be done by 2015, which isn't really the case. There's a deadline, but it's a notional deadline.
Broadcasters have a lot to gain if this is done well. But also broadcasters have a lot to lose if this doesn't go well. So it's in their interest to come together, and that's why I'm so delighted by what the collaboration, making this conference possible by channels and the AIB. It's just so important that they're here and they're listening to other voices, other people who've done this all over the world.
There's a lot to do before you can switch over. But the fact that there will be huge appetite and need for content to feed the platforms that will come about, it's very important for us to know and to be prepared, because we don't really have the content in Nigeria and in the rest of Africa. But what does this mean? It means that there will be more jobs that will be created. Nollywood will even, blossom even further. Our GDP will again be rebased in no time, and things will be happening in terms of employment for the youths, many of whom are jobless at this point in time.